Welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am the Clydesdale and I am your host. We love to do fitness, and these are my friends. We got to start tonight by thanking our title sponsor, RX Smart Gear, best jump rope in the business. And if you did 21.1, you probably used one of their products. And right now, I think it's until tonight, you can use RX Open 21 to get 21% off. But anytime after tonight, you can use Clydesdale 15, all caps, to get 15% off. But if you want that 21% off, it is only through tonight. And then you'll have to use our 15% discount because it's one of the bigger discounts that RX has handed out around the world. So also with that, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. RX is doing a promotion, giving away a new jump rope for every 100 subscribers we get to. And go to Clydesdale Fitness and Friends podcast on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, have a public profile, and have a chance to win a brand new RX Smart Gear jump rope. So we talked about 21.1 in the little promo there. We all did it. So how'd it go?
Well, I just loved it so much I did it twice.
Oh, you poor thing.
I'm happy I did do it twice because I got where I originally knew I could.
Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't execute my original plan because that tends to happen to me is I have a plan and then my jitters kind of get to me and then I just like, screw it, I'm just going to do whatever. And so I think after doing it and being able to judge it, I was able to realize, yep, I can execute this plan, and I did it, and I was able to get where I wanted to. Double unders is actually, as you guys know, a challenge for me, but I'm pretty strong on my shoulders and pretty strong being inverted. So I felt confident with the workout overall. So I redid it, and I was able to get into 3 wall walks of the set of 21. So that made me feel better. Charlie also liked it so much that he did it twice too, that he can tell you about that.
I don't want to talk about it.
How'd
Don't
your
do it back to
redo go?
back. Don't do it back to back. Redo was better. However, if I wouldn't have done it the first time, it would have been even better.
Well, yeah. That's how that works.
I'd have finished. That's what I think. In my own
boy.
mind.
So where did you get to?
I don't even know. Somewhere in the 15s.
Good.
Yeah, you got into the 15s.
Yeah.
Wall walk.
My goal was to get into the 15s when I first saw the workout. And when I was 2 reps shy of finishing the 15, I thought to myself, oh, man, I could really get a little more efficient with some of those wall walks and maybe go a little bit faster on my dubs because I broke them up early. Not because I'm not good at them, but because my shoulders I was afraid my shoulders were going to start failing me on those wall walks. So I'm not usually a 2-timer on these. I'm usually one and done. But knowing that I had a different strategy and knowing that I could have affected my score a lot, I should have done it again. But I did it the first time on Sunday, so I didn't have a chance to really recover and do it a second time. And it was just I was supposed to do it Friday. I had a meeting that I needed to go to, so I couldn't. And then what happened was that meeting never happened. So I could have done it on Friday, but I didn't know that until sooner. So yeah, that's my excuse. But I was happy that I got into that round of 15. And I think I was telling Amy, if I had redone it, I care what I do in my state. Like that's my big win for if I'm top 10 in my age group in my state. And if I had redone it, no matter how good I would have done, I still would have been in the same spot that I'm in now. So I'm glad I didn't do all that work and try to do it again to improve my score.
Yeah, my experience was, it was a wild weekend. I tried to do the scaled version. When I tried to support my body on the side where the back injury is, my back actually buckled on me and I went down in a heap. It scared me a lot. but I came out of it okay. And then I gave myself 2 days rest and did it Monday in the foundations division. And really that was the right scaling for me right now. That's where I should have looked right off the bat. It was not easy. It was very hard. Bear crawls and jumping jacks. I begged my judge to let me do jump ropes, but no, I had to do giant jumping jacks, which are 2 jumps per rep instead of 1, just for those of you counting. And when your legs have been in cast for 3 years, your ankles blow up super fast. So, but I'm really happy how it went. My judge yelled at me quite a bit to keep moving, which was very motivating and helped me through it. So
can we talk about judges here for a second? My first judge was a real, she just didn't, she wasn't very nice to me. A lot of times I felt like she gave me a lot of no reps. I don't know if they're warranted or not. I kind of blacked out, but my second judge was way better.
It was better.
Well, that judge
more
was
forgiving.
a safe judge.
Safe judge, yeah.
It may have been the same judge. I'm not going to confirm or deny.
The same judge. It was me, but let's just say that the standards were performed much better on the second time, and they actually counted, which is why you think that your judge was nicer.
Listen, see what had happened was there was this thing about shoulder mobility that, that's it.
All right.
Well, I think the problem was, I'm just going to say it didn't start off good because the first rep was a no rep.
When you get no reps on your first rep, it really throws your whole game plan off.
Dude, that's when you just like reset the clock and go again.
And that's what I should have done.
Yeah.
And walked away and came back next week.
It's the advantage of doing it in a garage gym. It's just one at a time.
All right. I'll be in Delaware on a Friday.
There you go. Sounds good.
Well, with that, we actually have a special treat. Someone reached out to me and told me the story of this guy in Philadelphia. He is a 70-year-old blind man who is now getting the opportunity to do the Open for the first time ever because of the adaptive athlete divisions. He did the workout, and I looked at the adaptive athlete version for vision impaired for this guy. It is shoulder taps, so plank position, shoulder taps, and then still double unders. Still double unders for a blind man, 70 years old. He actually scaled it down to single unders because he had not jump roped in 40 years. It's a great story. I'm going to go ahead and launch that now, and we'll come back after, and we'll just talk about the news of the day. Hey, everyone. We have Charles King and Jon Mears with us. I'm so honored to have you on, Charles. You are first of all, adaptive athletes now in the Open. So cool. And you are blind, correct?
Yes, totally blind. I've been totally blind 32 years.
Wow. And you did the Open this weekend?
Yes, part one.
How did that go for you?
It was unique. It was surprising, right? They had me jumping rope. I hadn't jumped rope in 40 years. But John here is a great coach. You know, he explains things to me in a way that really gives me confidence and makes my mind say, okay, we're going to do this. You know?
And so the normal prescribed workout was wall walks and double unders.
Right.
And your version was it the shoulder taps?
Shoulder tap push up.
Shoulder tap push up with still double unders or jump rope.
We changed that to single unders.
Okay.
So I gotta try and call someone at HQ maybe just to see, like, once you register as adaptive, we're going to put him in the scaled 70-year-old division, and you can't. So we kind of combined them. It's like, whatever, we're just working out, having fun. But he did single unders, but he did the shoulder taps, got into the 150 singles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome job, Charles.
Hey, I was
And-
in the groove.
And you're 70?
Yes. I'm
Wow.
71 in June.
71 in June. And you're killing it.
Excuse me, as John was saying, but that's just like when I went to the Olympiad Games for the blind, right? In the World Games, we have age categories, but there we didn't. You know, I at 65, I competed against guys 18 to 27, but I still came in fourth place in powerlifting. You know.
So you're doing CrossFit and powerlifting. Those are like your two big passions?
Yes. Yes.
So what's your favorite power lift?
Really, I like squatting, but my deadlift's my most powerful one.
Okay, awesome. And so my understanding is that you've overcome a lot of obstacles in your life.
Yes.
You battled cancer.
Your prostate cancer. After prostate cancer came diabetes. You know, after diabetes came degenerative arthritis in the knee and hip and lower spine. And that's what got me to getting involved in sports. Because I didn't want to be blind and not be ambulatory. You know, because while I was homeless and on the streets, when I was blind, I lost everything, became homeless and living on the streets. I got caught in that winter storm of 96 in Philadelphia, and I was living on steam vent. And when they found me the next morning, a police officer, I couldn't walk. So I was so frostbitten that I couldn't walk. And I spent 17 days in a veterans hospital, unable to walk and blind. And that was one of the most frightening parts of my,
Yeah.
Boy.
So you were homeless, and is it my understanding you were a veteran as well?
Yes. I'm a veteran of the Army, U.S. Army.
Incredible. Thank you for your service. And so you've been through all of this. You're a veteran, you're homeless, diabetes, cancer, and you've overcome all this. Where did you find CrossFit? Where did that come into play? Or was powerlifting the first thing?
Powerlifting was the first thing. I started powerlifting in 2010 at age 60. Okay, and like I said, I only get $500-something a month from Social Security because my blindness isn't service related. I have what they call optic nerve neuropathy. I was born with it, but it didn't completely manifest in my life until I was like 37 years old.
Okay.
You know, so when I went blind, I lost the will to live. I didn't know what to do. People would tell me, well, you don't look blind, all that craziness. You know, and I just gave up on life. And I just went to the streets of Philadelphia with the homeless people saying, as mean as the streets of Philadelphia is, somebody had killed me, but it wasn't meant to be.
Oh, wow. And so how did you get out of that depression? What was the trigger that got you to look for something else?
VA, right?
The VA, and once I got able to walk again, right? When I regained my feet would support my work, my weight and everything. I says, okay, God, I surrender. I'm not going to do nothing wrong no more. These people at the VA are going to help me. I spent 2 years in the VA. And before that, I thought there was no hope for someone like me because I worked in construction. I was a carpenter's apprentice before I went blind. And I thought I finally made it in life, and then I go blind. You know, you say, wow, what? But the VA kept me in there for 2 years, and I learned activities of daily living and met other blind vets that were, you know, some of them were in wheelchairs and blind. You know, some of them were in kidney machines. And I said, you know what? Being around them and them finding joy in life, I said, I'm going to find the joy to live some kind of way, shape, or form.
So you jumped into powerlifting, and why powerlifting? Is it something you did in the past?
This is one of my favorite stories of something I find humorous in his tragedy, if you will. The VA took him to the Olympic Training Center.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is they took him whitewater rafting. I've been whitewater rafting, and I am a healthy, visually just fine person, and I was scared. I can't imagine being in that boat blind, just sent down the river. But from there, tell them they took you through a series of sports, right? Like everything, right?
Man, that whitewater rafting, when we got off it, some guys are visually impaired. So I was the only totally blind guy in the boat. And I was front. I was up front holding the rope. And some little paddle they gave me. When they need to say left, I would push left, and right, I pushed right. And the other guys were on the side rowing because they had some sight and they were tied in. And that thing was going up and down, and the water was hitting me, and I was holding on for dear life, and it was spinning. And the noise of the power of the river. I got off that boat. I kissed the ground.
Yeah.
They ran me through a series of sports, though, right?
Yeah, up at the United States Association of Blind Athletes invites the blind veterans up there every year. And they send us through field and track, javelin, tandem cycling, swimming, judo, sonar range, where you had when the gun hits the right place, it goes in, you're supposed to pull the trigger at the time, all kinds of stuff, right?
But it was powerlifting.
And powerlifting that spoke to me. All I could do was bench press, right? But I could do that well, So I told him I'd like to get into powerlifting. And when I got back here to Philadelphia, my biz coordinator, George Stillwell, went to finding out where we could find a gym that would train a blind guy, totally blind guy. It was hard because a lot of gyms wouldn't allow me in because I was totally blind unless I had a spotter and and I had to have two people around. But Robert Keller and Joe Braca, who owned the underground gym in Flourtown, Pennsylvania, said, bring him on up. So Joe Braca and the underground, they do the Special Olympics out in the county, whereas the teenagers, and they train them, and they have an event for them. Special Olympics, one of them in the challenge. So Joe said, I never trained a blind guy, but I'll try. Took him 8 months to teach me how to squat. But they wouldn't let me quit. Yeah.
So, John, you're his coach now, right?
Yeah, he's still, right now he's with me most of the time. It was me and Joe back and forth. But just right now, he's over here doing full-time, three days a week of CrossFit plus the open. So yeah, we're getting him good. But we don't ignore his powerlifting for sure. We train heavy.
So what is it like training Charles?
Well, the wonderful thing is he is a gifted athlete. I would love to see if he was if he could see, there'd be no way he wouldn't have even more records. I mean, like he said, he hadn't jumped rope in 40 years. And I thought the adaptive division would be jumping jacks, just in my mind from reading the .com and seeing how they were progressing. And when they said double under, I'm like, well, I think he can try something, we'll try something. I hand him a rope. Remember, I was like, when's the last time you jumped rope? He's 40 years ago. I'm like, well, I'll be here in case you stumble, but just do it. And so next thing I know, he's doing sets of 30, single unders. Wow. And I'm like, there's nothing. And I'll throw things at him on purpose. I'll be like, today we're going to do full GHD hip extension, or today we're going to do full GHD sit up, or we're going to ski her at 500 meters. He always does it.
He keeps it exciting and challenging.
But he just keeps doing it, Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, he said he had heard about a clean. Yeah, we can clean a bar, right? He goes, but I really like to squat. I'm like, all right, we'll squat clean. And then he's like, but I want to press it. So I taught him, and in 5 minutes, he was doing clusters, full clusters from the ground, blind, squat clean thruster like it was nothing. I'm like, man, we're ready for the open. I mean, what are they going to throw at us except double unders? We were not ready for that. But I can't wait. It's so fun to coach him. But it has taught me for me as a coach, to steer, I can't say, hey, look at this. Hey, you're doing this. Hey, your knee, it's a little more tactile.
He
And
shows
sometimes
me with his body. He lets me feel his body as he does different things. And that's what my powerlifting coach used to do.
Yeah.
And he was with my powerlifting, like I said, we had 10 years. And he wouldn't let me be afraid of anything. Yeah. You know, and that's what gave me the confidence once I realized Jon was the same type of man, you know, that he would do whatever he had to do, let me feel, hold a position and everything, until mentally my brain could envision close to what he was doing physically, you know, externally. It's fun. He makes it challenging, but it's fun.
So Jon, you're saying that's made you a better coach?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like, you know, I'm pretty, I guess, happy with where I am coaching wise. Been doing this CrossFit alone 11 years, fitness 30 years. Blessed enough to be on seminar staff, but this has been challenging, but in the best way possible. Like nothing to shy away from, only learning and teaching me things I really need to know. And it's helped so much.
At least he listens to me, you know, because I always tell him I have to see it first, right? In my brain, you know, musculoskeletal relationship and all of that and everything.
Can we do dry runs of things?
Yes.
Like, we're not going to have any weight. I'm going to teach you this. Now I give you PVC. We're going to do it again. And we totally take it up. But he's got such a strong base in powerlifting that the weights just stack up pretty quick for what, I mean, and you forget he's 70, you know, because people are like, man, why are you having him squat 200 pounds plus green bands on the side with kettlebells? I'm like, go ahead and lift that. They can't even lift it. He unracks it and squats it for 5. It's like he has a base of strength that's really good that lends us to learning all these other things.
See, they tell me this, right? But I have no idea with 200 pounds or 400 pounds.
That's the best part. I'll be like, you want some green plates? He'll be like, sure. I don't know if I feel it, right? Once he picks it up, then he's like, oh, I know what this is. Yeah, it makes no difference to him.
Well, and it appears that you guys have a really cool relationship through this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That you're more than coach and client now, like the friendship is developed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I got to say this because a lot of people don't understand. I mean, most blind athletes, they're on Social Security or something like that, you know, and it's hard doing that. But just like my powerlifting coach, Jon, makes sure I have food to eat being a diabetic because my sugar drops. I'm high blow diabetic. So we have glucose tablets everywhere, candy and food. And, you know, he'll even, like he buys me from someplace, the ground beef and the chicken breast, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that really, taking that type of gift is love, you know. He sees I'm willing to try, and he gives me the love like a parent would give a child, you know. And it makes a difference, and it keeps me motivated because life's beat me up so bad that I done made my mind, I'm just going to find a reason to have joy in it.
Yeah, that's the best part of the story, I think, is the relationship you guys have developed. That's just really cool. Well, you keep saying Social Security, and I know Social Security doesn't pay much. You know, my mom's living off of it in Pennsylvania as well. And we want to help you out. I know you have a GoFundMe page, and I'm going to put that link up on the screen here. And for those of you just listening, we're going to put it in the description. But Charles has a GoFundMe page because he's living on just a little over $500 a month. And just put yourself in those shoes, because that's barely enough to live on, if it is enough to live on. And we want to help him out.
Absolutely. And then tell him how much it costs to go to Korea.
Oh, well, listen, we had to raise $14,000 to go to Olympic Games for the blind in Seoul, South Korea.
It's just astronomical amounts.
Fox 29 did something, and they ran it every week and everything. We only raised $10,000, so I had to put $4,000 on credit cards, right? You know, for my coach and I. But that's why I haven't been back to an Olympic game or World game since.
That's why the CrossFit Games are right down the street
Yeah,
in
right down the
Madison.
street.
We don't have to get there. No 14 grand to get there.
Yeah. But even this year, they to go to the nationals, which I do manage to go to every year, it costs about $4,800 for my coach and I, for airfare, for food when we get there, for hotel when we get there, for transportation and everything. The cost of registration, all that kind of stuff. It's not cheap for an athlete if you want to be on a national or world stage. I'm hoping maybe one day somebody will hear this and say, we'll sponsor you.
Right.
Well, Charles, you're a remarkable athlete. At 70 years old, doing what you did, you got way further in that open workout than I did. So it's been a joy having you guys on. I love the relationship. I love what you guys are doing. Listeners, the GoFundMe link is down below. Check that out and make sure you help Charles get to Madison this year, whatever he needs to do.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Yeah, you guys have a great night.
We will.
Yeah, bless.
Bye.
So thank you to Charles and John for jumping on with us there. What an inspirational story. And now we're going to get to the news of the day. And this is just our freewheeling roundtable now. Just topics that are kind of on the heads or on the minds of all of us. So let's open it up.
Everyone and their brother is doing a podcast about the Mat Fraser, Joe Rogan thing. So we might as well get into it quickly and respectfully.
Yeah, because I think we have different opinions.
Yeah,
I think we do too.
Yeah.
We
So
also had new information from Matt on his podcast.
Yep.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well, I don't know that. So start with that.
So he basically said today on the podcast that he had stage fright, that he had a plan in his head, and especially he even had an opener to as an icebreaker. And when Rogan introduced him, he just went blank. All of it went out of his head. He listens to Rogan probably more than he listens to music while training. And he just got stage fright, and he admitted it on the podcast. And there were a lot of things that he forgot to mention that he had in his mind. And he also said that what he thought came across as supportive of CrossFit, everybody's taking as not. So I listened to it. I sat through the 3 hours. I got to admit, it wasn't my favorite podcast in the world. I thought it got very slow and boring in spots. And they talked about things that weren't really pertinent to CrossFit or what Matt was up to. It just kind of went off into drug use and how drug testing goes. And that just kind of bored me a little bit, but I thought there was much to do about nothing. Matt has been very vocal since he has left CrossFit. I don't think there was anything new and crazy in these statements. And some of the stuff he said, I agree with. I've dropped into a lot of gyms around the country, and there are some really, 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 really good ones. But I've also hit a handful of bad ones as well. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of a mixed bag out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just, the way I see people being up in arms about it is that it's sort of like a sin of omission, right? There were things that he neglected to say, perhaps, in order to, boost up the affiliates and things like that. But, at the end of the day, he's going on a podcast because he's the 5-time champion, and he's going to, take Joe Rogan's lead in terms of what the line of questioning is. And certainly if he's a little bit tongue-tied, it's going to be difficult for him to be some kind of brand ambassador for CrossFit, which wasn't the purpose of that podcast, really. It was, it was a personal gain for Mat Fraser. And I don't know that, I think people are putting a lot of responsibility and pressure on him to be something that he's not. So I didn't see anything wrong with it either. And I actually think my take was, and let's just go through some of the comments that people were upset with, talking about the thing about some affiliates aren't that good. And, you got to make sure you get one with good programming and things like that, because anybody can open up an affiliate with $1,000 or $4,000, some insurance and a weekend cert, which is true. Not a lie. To me, that means that if people were on the fence about CrossFit, I think they have to be more discerning about the box that they choose to attend. And that's kind of how I took what he said about that, okay, if I don't know anything about it, I'm going to try it. And I just listened to this podcast, I got to make sure I go to a good one. I don't necessarily know what that means, but maybe I'm going to shop around, which is what I think people should do. So Amy, give me your take on that.
Well, let me say real quick.
Or Charlie.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, though, I think he did make a point of saying, the scary thing that people see is that people getting hurt. And he's like, well, yeah, if I were to just go out and run a marathon without training, I'm obviously going to get hurt. So it's about, he talked about how when he started, he did fundamentals forever. I mean, he was doing a lot of stuff with just a PVC pipe. So weights on, his coach, which was good, said, sorry, no, this is what you're doing. Until you can get this technique right. And, he hammered home his technique was the biggest thing that helped him, in the sport. So, and it's, he's talked about the L1. Basically people interpreted the fact that he said it's over a weekend as that it's not worth anything. But, as he said on his podcast, that's not kind of how he wanted it to come across, because he knows there's great things that can happen. His father's been changed from an L1, the Dr. L1, and, all kinds of things. So you, Amy.
Yeah. So I guess I listened to it before I realized that there was an uproar or other people were listening to it. And I just was curious because I do like Joe Rogan most of the time. I mean, sometimes I'm entertained by him. He can be a little much and get boring, but I do like some of his entertainment. So I was excited to hear it. And whether he likes it or not, Matt, he is outside to other people outside of the CrossFit community. He does represent CrossFit because he has these 5 titles. And for me, I was disappointed listening to it in the sense that somebody who doesn't know much about CrossFit or doesn't have experience within our, kind of realm, this is what they're going to hear and this is what they're going to take. And I felt that he missed the boat or didn't describe things enough. Not that it was his job to sell it or his job to say, you need to do this. This is the best thing in the world. But I think he didn't give it enough information. I felt it was just kind of like, And I just think that is not making CrossFit look good out to the other people who are outside of our realm.
Yeah. And I think that dichotomy speaks to the difference between the sport and the affiliate, and that there is a difference. And I think Matt obviously relates way more to the sport side of it than he does to the affiliate side of it. I mean, the last 3 years, he hasn't even been part of an affiliate. He's been training in his garage, within the rules of the game and just doing the sport piece of it. And so I think that's kind of the issue too, that I don't know that he has, I don't know. I wouldn't, and I guess because I know his background and everything, I wouldn't necessarily look to him to be an ambassador for affiliates. I'd look to him to be more of an ambassador for the sport. And I understand that the layperson doesn't distinguish the two necessarily, but maybe we need to do a better job of that too, so that people that are trying it realize that this Matt guy isn't really an affiliate guy. He's a sport guy.
Well, I think that's part of the stage fright thing he was talking about, because on his podcast, he talked about one of his best friends who's lost over 100 pounds from being in an affiliate and doing it because he's seen Matt do it and, asked Matt for help, and, has just been in an affiliate and has lost, like I said, he said he's probably lost that 100-pound mark of losing weight. But that's something that he didn't get across that he wished he would have. But, it's the same thing. If you're talking to one of your idols, you have in your mind exactly what you want to say. but
Well, I think
they ask you questions.
I
Go
think
ahead.
Sevon made a great point that Matt should have had talking points. He should have had a list with talking points going into this so that he didn't get caught up in that.
Yeah, see, I disagree. I mean, let the dude just be on Rogan and talk about whatever he wants to. Like, he's not waving that CrossFit flag, nor do I think he has to.
I'm not
you know
saying
what
it
I
for
mean?
that. I'm in agreement with you that I don't think there was anything that big that happened. I think that he, from his podcast today, regrets not saying some of the things he wanted to say.
Yeah, but is that just because of all this uproar, though? I mean, does he really? I mean, and I'm not saying he's not being genuine about it, but like,
I think he
I
did
don't
want to
know.
highlight his dad's story, and I think he did want to highlight his friend's story, and he just didn't. I think those are the two things he regrets.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Ask him.
I mean, yes, I do think that he could just be on the show and talk, but when he specifically asked about a sport that he participated in and he is a representative of, to me, I think he dropped the ball. I do. I just, it's regardless of if he wanted it or not, he is viewed as that because of what he's accomplished and what he's done in our sport. So
But here's the thing
in our sport.
Yes.
It's about
different
the thing
than
about Joe Rogan is that he'll take you down a rabbit hole that can take an hour of talking about what Glassman looks like. I mean, it's like it's hard, I think, for a guest to try to turn back a conversation to something that Joe's gone down the path of. He was showing clips of UFC fighters, and what does it got to do with Matt? Nothing. But that was an hour.
You're not driving when you're on with Joe Rogan, right? You're just along for the ride.
Yeah. So I guess to your point, Kat, I think what I think if we could have given him points to talk about with this, I think if he would have distinguished, I'm talking about the sport that I participated in, and I'm not an affiliate owner. I can't give you information about an affiliate. I can just tell you about places I've seen. I think if he would have distinguished that, I would feel better about that as far as what you're saying, that it's not his job to talk about the affiliate part. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move to something else. I filled out my bracket for fantasy fitnessing, and it has blown up already because I picked Sara Sigmundsdottir to win the Open right here on this show.
Yikes.
And so I did that as well in my bracket in fantasy fitnessing. So I'm going to lose all of those points as she suffered her ACL, and I am completely bummed. You guys know that she's one of my favorites. I had the chance to meet her. She's just one of the coolest people I've ever met, and I just want her to succeed. And she just seems snake bitten now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
What was it, on a split jerk?
Yeah.
Or sure something she caught it. Yeah.
Yep.
So breaks.
Guess I'm not winning that bracket this year.
Yeah, and ACL's no joke. I mean,
it's a year.
Yeah, it's like at least 9-month recovery before you're back. So, I mean, she's got superpowers. I'm sure it'll be less than that, but yeah, it's gonna take her out.
So now's a good time to work on mindset.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I hope she and Max still continue to work together.
Yeah, some upper body strength.
Exactly. Speaking of injuries, James Newberry had a knee scope a couple weeks ago, and he is in the Open.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like right up there, competing and doing well. So that's kind of cool. He's been riddled with a little bit of bad luck too, with like that biking accident that he had that took him out for a bit. And now this. So hopefully, the scope he had a really good surgeon, just went in and out, and he'll be back.
So speaking about that scope, I'm going to go revisit the Joe Rogan podcast real quick. Yeah. When he was talking about the injuries of CrossFit, and he was like, meniscus, man, it just feels like that's just if you do CrossFit, you're going to have meniscus injuries. So I've had a meniscus injury. I do CrossFit. However, it's having a meniscus tear is one of the most common injuries in general with any sport.
Yeah.
And so it really is a pretty mild scope. The surgeries for that are pretty easy, fast recovery. So good news for James Newberry.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So how long did you think a human could hang on to a bar?
Oh my gosh. Not 20 minutes.
That is
What the
ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. Well, I saw Casey Catanzaro's first, and 9 minutes and 14 seconds or whatever it was. 9:14. That blew me away. I was like, how is that even possible? Now she is tiny.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, she's American Ninja Warrior, kind of the first woman to ever get up the warped wall. So she was like a big deal on the American Ninja Warrior circuit. But 9 minutes and 14 seconds dead hang on a pull-up bar. Then the men's results came out. 20 minutes and 21 seconds.
So could they regrip, like turn their hands and move?
I think as long as they don't come off the bar.
Yeah.
Like could one hand come off and like,
Sure.
so I could be like this and then I could take it and go like that.
I would think so.
Now the video footage
Did
they
you
just
see
did
this
like,
guy?
No, I
His
think I could have
hands were
gone.
ridiculous looking.
Yeah.
He looked like he had banana hands,
Well, he must have.
and it was ridiculous.
I think if I would have done that, I could have gotten 12 seconds with that method.
Seriously, right?
I remember we had to do that in a competition, and I was trying to get 60 seconds at a crack, and it was really, really hard. And I don't know if I even ever did it once, because you had to hang while your partner did reps. And so you could hang. And then when you came off, you had to switch.
Yep.
Here's a fun fact. I won $100 in Nashville. May have been alcohol induced. I don't really know. Hanging on a bar for a minute that actually rolled.
Whoa.
Oh, that rolled. Yikes.
It was, they were cheating, clearly. But knuckles over, victory me.
Well, I just got a massage today, and my massage therapist told me that I need to start hanging from the bar more often because one of my scapulas is winged to the side. And I have trouble with this lat. Like I pull it and tear it. I don't know if I tear it, but I pull it quite often. Yeah, I strain it. And so he gave me homework, and that's going to be to hang on the bar. Dead hang. So that's what I'll be doing. I have no excuse not to.
Yeah.
Is everybody working out this week?
Yes.
What's your open prep for the week?
Well, I wouldn't call it an open prep, but I did the workout today and I definitely had to go lighter because I was like feeling it here and my hamstrings are tight. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about what 21.2 is going to be.
Yeah.
And it was running, which that's not fun.
There was running today.
Yeah. So I was telling you guys, I did the 21.1 on Sunday, and then today was the first day I worked out since then, which is awesome. But we did med ball cleans, pull-ups, strict pull-ups, push-ups, and double unders. And my push-ups are terrible. Like I can never string that many together. I can do like a big set and then I'm like doing threes, and so my goal today was to do it was multiple rounds. It was like a 20-minute AMRAP, and it was 8 push-ups. And so my goal was to do all 8 every time I got through it. And I did all 8 every time. Didn't have to break those up, which I normally would have to do. So apparently 21.1 gave me superpowers in my pecs.
Yeah. Love it.
Awesome. I am so damn sore. All I've been able to do is bike.
Okay.
That's okay. Moving your body.
So I did a lunchtime bike today when I got back from the chiropractor. And that was rough. It still was rough. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
But I have plans tomorrow to do something.
40 plus club tomorrow will definitely be for quality.
Yeah. We're not doing anything crazy.
But you guys will get to do the workout Friday. See, I think I'm going to do the workout Sunday again. So I might as well try to work out tomorrow and Friday. But I am coaching 8 hours tomorrow and 7 hours on Friday.
Wow.
So I don't think I'll be working out any of those days. And I'm coaching 5 hours on Saturday.
Yikes.
Yeah. ish is starting to get real over here at CrossFit Clarity. I have like
Yeah.
34 clients.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's good, but scary.
Yeah.
And I'm so freaking busy, and I just opened up like all of my hours. So I'm basically working from like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
Yep. I'm going to need another coach. So I'm going to need, but yeah, good problem to have.
You're definitely outgrowing
stressed.
that garage.
Yeah. I'm stressing myself out a little bit. So Sunday is my workout day now. And luckily I
Awesome.
have some friends that come over and will do it with me or redo it with, they'll do their redo. I'll do my first one. So
any other big stuff before we get to the fun questions?
nope.
No.
All about the fun. Let's do it.
The only thing I'd left on mine really is Shane's sense of humor that went viral.
Oh, yeah.
Tia going team.
Yeah. And that blew up fast. And then he was trying to retract it, and it wasn't going as fast as the initial, but that was funny. So again, this week, our Silly Questions of the Week brought to you by Up Before You Coffee. Make sure you use code Clydesdale20, all caps, at upbeforeyou.com and get 20% off your bag of coffee. They have both light and medium roast coffee. They're both delicious. It's a nice treat in the morning to be able to drink that. So check that out. Clydesdale20, upbeforeyou.com. First silly question is, what is your favorite app on your phone? And let's go with Kat first.
Okay. So this is my question. And of course, now I have questions about my question.
Mhm.
Is it the most used app on your phone? Is it the one you like to just check constantly, but you're not on it? So I'm going to interpret this as the one that I use the most. And I checked my time screen thing. And of course, it's Spotify, because I'm either listening to podcasts or playing music for my clients while they're working out. So I spend most of my day on Spotify. It's always open.
I love how you asked yourself the
I know.
interpretation of your own question.
And she answered her.
And I answered it. Yeah. I could have gone in so many
One-stop
directions.
shop.
I have like 4 answers on my sheet here. So I went with the one I use the most.
Charlie,
So
the mute button.
mine bleeds into the second question, but it should be Go Wad, but it's probably not. It's more like Candy Crush Friends. Not the original
That's good.
Candy Crush, because that's garbage. Candy Crush
Yo.
Friends.
Candy Crush is my go-to when I'm on an airplane. When I'm in
Yep.
airplane mode, I
Yep.
just
Then
play
you need
Candy
to-
Crush.
You need to get hip to Candy Crush Friends because it's
All right.
fantastic.
Amy,
So my most used one is podcast. Look, we're on one. It is the most used because I drive a lot, because I have 17 part-time jobs. Not really 17, but I have a lot. But I'm driving to 3 different areas, 3 different counties every day. And so I listen to mostly murder chopping up podcasts. But my
and the
favorite,
Clydesdale Fitness and Friends,
yeah,
of course.
we're just saying one. Okay, I won't say the other one.
Go ahead.
You can say
And
that.
the other one for fun is TikTok. That's just entertainment. That's just something I like, that like at the end of the day, like if Scott and I are just kind of like winding down, watching TV, I'm like, oh, I better check TikTok. Just make sure there's some
Definitely
cute
TikTok.
There's
There's
dog
no
videos.
question. It's TikTok.
Yeah,
I love
for
it.
sure.
So I've gotten really boring with mine. I stopped playing games. I just got bored with a lot of them. I used to be a Candy Crush addict. Like I got rid of that. So really the one I use the most right now is MyFitnessPal.
Oh yeah.
Because I am logging everything. Now I kind of use it in tandem with, it's called the fitness app, and all of the information from MyFitnessPal downloads into that. And it's what Cheryl uses to track kind of our information. And it gives you circles of your macros. So it's like a game. Like I'm trying to fill my circles. And so I like it on the fitness app better than MyFitnessPal, because MyFitnessPal is just numbers I want to fill the circles.
Oh, that's cool.
So I use them in tandem, and then I track a lot of my stuff in the fitness app. So the two of those together, I use a lot.
A lot.
So
Awesome.
the second question is, after we all got beat up by 21.1, what are your favorite recovery tools to kind of get your body right after you've been beat up? We'll start with Amy this time.
I got a lot of tools. I have to say one of them quietly. I would say about every 4 to 5 weeks, I go see a massage therapist.
This is a family podcast.
Okay, I just mean because of the finances. No, I would say every 5 to 6 weeks. He does. It's not a comfortable massage, but it's one that kind of just keeps my body in maintenance. And if an area that I've needed to focus, then we'll focus on that. So that's one. Let's see. I should do more foam rolling. I don't. I use a TENS unit on a reg. Just for recovery or if there is pain, which isn't too often, but every once in a while, something feels more than just sore. But my big one is CBD. So I like CBD for recovery, for sleep with that. So those are my main go-tos.
Charlie?
Well, as you all know, I'm a man of mobility. So GoWod is something I've actually been using after class.
It's true.
As social media may have seen, me and a buddy of ours.
When he goes to class.
When I go to class. When I go to class. I also like a nice Theragun. Not the Theragun brand, but probably the Chinese version that was hundreds of dollars less, but still works, still just as effective. So I've used it once. I've had it for, like many other things. I've had it probably a year, used it once, but that's fine. I'm going to go with those tools as my favorite.
Kat?
Well, after a hard workout, I really like to have a Coca-Cola and a Snickers bar.
Okay.
What else is
And
there?
a little Cavassier.
No, it's funny. So I have all of the tools. I have a voodoo band. I have lacrosse balls. I have a TENS unit. I have a percussion thing, like a Theragun. I don't have a bathtub, and I wish I did. There's no bathtub in this house, so I never get to like soak in a tub. I do when I travel. So I would say, and this is in all seriousness, I don't work out enough right now to really need any recovery. So like the last competition I did, my recovery is food. Like it just is. And I'm joking about the Coca-Cola and the Snickers because I don't drink Coke and I don't eat Snickers, but like I'll have a pint of Ben and Jerry's and it'll make me feel really good. So yeah. My goal this year is to like work out enough to need all that stuff, because I used to need it and use it all. And I feel like I've gotten away from it because I don't really do enough to warrant needing it.
Yeah, I have everything that you guys talked about. The TENS machine is on the reg, just like Amy. A lacrosse ball, when I'm sitting in my work chair, I'm using that all the time, sitting on it, rolling it on my back, all of that stuff. But I think, and CBD ointment now I'm kind of hooked on, and that is like the Pure Spectrum. It's not really like a cream. It's like a powder that turns into a cream. But anyway, it has helped with my hip and back a lot for sleeping. Like when I rub that in, I'm pretty good for the night. The other thing that I've really grown to love is just getting on the bike for 20 minutes. Even though it's sore, it's not as sore as like lifting weights or doing an air squat, and it kind of gets the blood flowing. And I think that's helped more than anything.
I think once my Ricky juice gets here, that will be my favorite.
Yeah.
Little Indo ball, that'll be right on my recovery list.
Did you buy that from the same place you got your Theragun from?
Could be.
They sell it there.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, our guest for next week is
Ricky Garrard. Oh, wait.
Not Ricky Garrard. It is actually a personal friend of a couple of us. It is going to be a very powerful episode, one that I think you all should check out. It is our friend Sean Clifton, who is a former Army, Navy. I don't know if you're ever a former, but he is a Green Beret. And he had a very traumatic event happen to him, which he details in this podcast, and how he overcame it. It's just a very emotional, impactful story that I can't wait for you all to hear. And yeah, we'll just leave it with that. I don't want any spoilers of what's coming with that, but yeah, that's a big one for us because it's a pretty special story. The other thing I want to remind you of is this Thursday night, 21.2, we are going live again, recording the announcement and maybe some of the competition between Justin Medeiros and Samuel Quant to check that out. But Dex will be back with all of his humor and analysis. That it should be fun. And we'll get to hear how the original Clydesdale did with his 21.1. I talked to him a little bit yesterday. It's a funny story, and I'm sure you're all going to laugh.
Can't wait.
So with that, best thing from the internet, let's finish it up with that. And it looks like we lost Charlie.
And Amy looks surprised. She's got to find hers.
I forgot.
So I'll go.
So every week we do best thing from the internet.
I know. That's why my eyes were like that. I forgot. It wasn't about you guys. Okay.
So mine is only I get to see this on the internet. Not everyone gets to see it on the internet, but I'm doing open video review for elite males this year for the Open. So I was watching some of the top 5, top 10 athletes right before we hit the record button here, doing my judgy thing for those. So tough workout to judge with the lines and the making sure that, your hands are on the tape before your feet or all that stuff. Tape, hands, feet on the wall, counting double unders, lots of loud music in the background. I've decided I have to mute the videos now to count double unders, because if I hear the music, I start going to the beat of the music and it messes me up, or I hear the judge miscounting and I mess up. So a lot of videos on mute, but that's going to be my favorite probably for the next couple of weeks, because I get to see how everybody's doing.
What I love is, because I'm in a lot of the judge groups around, and your guys' comments about stuff that you've seen, and our friend Brian Folger, who said he can now count in Russian after watching so many videos. So that was pretty cool.
It is cool. And it's just funny how some people have like zero regard for any of the rules or standards and still are bold enough to send in a video. It's like, are we in the same competition? Because that was crazy. But yeah, so busy couple of weeks for me, and then hopefully things will settle down.
Amy, did you find something?
I remembered. Yeah, I remember. I even sent it to you guys today on Instagram, but it was Make Watts Great Again. And it was it says when the coach is explaining the workout standards and you start to feel self-conscious, and it's Boz, and Boz is just going over old standards of something and talking about if it's 6 inches, then it's okay, but it can't be less. But if it's a little bit more than 6 inches, that's okay, but not any less than 6 inches. It was cracking me up.
And he looked like a baby in that video.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's one of the jumping standards, because wasn't the bar supposed to be like 6
over your head,
6 inches above the top of your head, or
right? If it's more than 6 inches, that's okay.
Right,
but it can't be less than 6. Don't let it be less than 6 inches. That's not good.
So mine is Team Richie, and I have not You know, I've been a big fan of theirs for a long time. They are awesome when they're on the road. When they're quarantined in their house, it's been a little, but he compiled, it had to be 10 minutes straight of 21.1 fails of people falling off the wall, people throwing their jump ropes. I was laughing so hard for 10 minutes straight. It was so good. And he doesn't even say a word. It just comes up like 21.1 is a graphic, and it just rolls through all this footage. And at the end, it's like, we don't quit, we hustle hard, and then it's over.
That's awesome.
And it's great. It's one of the best things I've seen in a long time on the internet. Because I know that I probably looked the exact same way when my back buckled on that first attempt. So I was there with them all. But yep, that's all I got. And the other, one just honorable mention, because I haven't done this in a while for Amy, is Sage Bergender did a wall walk twerk that was just hilarious. It just made me laugh. So shout out to one of our friends, Sage, and her little comedy bit there. So, okay, that's our show for this week. If you need a jump rope, you know where to get it. RX Smart Gear jump ropes, best in the business. Until midnight tonight, you can get 21% off by RX Open 21.
And
Tonight, or tomorrow night?
Tonight
17th.
is March 17th.
Got it. Okay. Is anyone going to see this tonight?
I'm trying to get it out tonight.
I guess they have to now.
March 17th. If you see this after, use Clydesdale 15, all caps, and you get at least 15% off your jump rope or grips or whatever you need from rxsmartgear.com. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, leave a review on Apple Podcast, leave a comment on YouTube, all that stuff. We'd love hearing from you.
Log in as someone else and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe for them.
Sure.
It's a good idea.
Steal passwords. Everybody just jump in and
do it.
Okay. No, we do not encourage that. But we want subscribers. Figure out a way.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya.